Is everything in it is historically protected, so nothing from the original building is altered. All we can do is add on to it. So all of these lighting fixtures are original, that were made specifically for this building. So the little lantern lights, the men and women's sign that looks like birdhouses, those were made specifically for this building. The old popcorn machine that you used to use, not anymore. These little light pieces, I believe, are from a show. I don't think they have anything to do with the original building, those little lighting fixtures.
Look at that old couch. That was so cool.
So what's the big 50 for?
That's celebrating 50 years of Fort Peck Summer Theater.
Which was when?
I believe our first season was in 1970 something. I could tell you if I had the year in front of me.
I mean, what year was it when it was 50 years old?
A couple years ago now.
Okay.
So we're in our 56th or 57th season, I believe.
So how long has this building itself been here?
Since the 1920s.
Nice.
So, and then this is my favorite part of the lobby, just because I learned a lot about this stuff in college, but this is like original pieces from the theater. So these are original hand draftings of the drafter who designed this theater, and it's got lettering on there of how specifically to build the building and what colors of stain to stain each piece of wood. Here's the birdhouse signs for the men and women's bathroom, and specifically how they need to be built and how they need to look. There's draftings back here for how the theater is supposed to look on the inside. We've got the Montana Governor's Arts Award from 1999, and that's the Fort Peck Summer Theater Council from 1999. And like every exit sign is custom made for this theater. This right here is a loft block. So what would happen is you would have a hand line running through this middle piece, and then these other 4 pieces would hold ropes. Those ropes would run across the theater and come down, one on the left middle, and right, and then it would be attached to a batten. So when you pull that hand line, it would move all 4 of those wheels, and then it would fly your projection screen in and out. So that's an original loft block from the theater when it was built, because our flying system has been updated to metal and not wood, because wood is not as stable as.
And that one wasn't protected?
Protected.
With the historical stuff?
No, because it was a safety hazard.
Okay.
And then this is the original Fort Peck logo that was on the curtains. So it was cut off of the curtains and memorialized. The old curtains had to come down because they were rotting away, because fabric does that as it gets old.
Yeah.
But the curtains we have installed are an exact replica of the old curtains, so they're very beautiful.
Right.
This is a drafting of the lighting fixtures, the house lights in the theater. Those will be on when you walk in before the show starts. And it specifies what color each thing needs to be painted, how big each light shade needs to be. It's all very specific. Everything in this building is intentional. Back when they didn't have computers to do any of their drafting, all of this was drawn by hand and watercolored and painted. Wow. And the designer was probably here running the whole show as it was getting built. So like things like this exit sign, this is all custom stuff that was built for this theater.
Neat.
So, yeah, like these chandeliers up here, these are custom. Everything in this theater is like one of a kind.
But now were these here in the 20s, or these?
Yes.
Those were there in the
we
20s?
Can't take anything down.
Okay.
A lot of the electrical has been redone, but all of the fixtures are originals.
Wow.
There's a big closet.
This is original seating from the theater, which is also the same seating that's in the house now.
Butt pad?
No.
So you can actually rent seat cushions for 25 cents.
Oh.
That's cool.
And then this is some pictures from previous years. So this was last year, 55th season, so that makes this year the 56th season, so now we know that.
Cinderella last year.
Yep. Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, the Sunshine Boys, Bonnie and Clyde, Honky Tonk Laundry. Those doors lead to the concession stand where all the workers are. And then there's 2 big metal doors on the walls that open up so then the people can come out from the lobby or from out of the house and come and get concessions.
But
and
we
then
go
back.
outside though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is you'd go out and around. Let's see.
Oh, look at this water fountain.
Yeah, also original. Everything is very detailed. So it doesn't work anymore, but it's still very pretty. Over here we have what are called, I can't remember the name. They're very old lighting dimmers. The word is coming to me, I don't remember it right now. But basically every system of lighting would be set on a lever. So all the way down would be 0, all the way up would be 100, and then you can lock it so it stays on.
And that runs what lights?
This used to run lights, it doesn't anymore. And then each lever is labeled. So you've got white lights for the stage, foot lights, border lights, second border, third border.
How cool
auxiliary,
is that?
Spare, dressing rooms, the stage, fan room. So this was installed when the theater got changed from a movie theater into a performance venue. So this is what theaters used to use before they had light boards, the digital light boards where it's a desk that you click buttons on. So you used to have teams of people backstage and they would have a list, a printed out sheet or a written out sheet because they didn't have printers. Well, they had, Anyway, they would have a written out list and it would say what levers to flick when in the show. And you would have teams of people that moved the levers up and down in sync with each other because you only have 2 hands. And you can go like this, but you can't necessarily hit individual levers. So it took about 3 to 4 people to operate the lights for any given show.
Oh, wow.
So, and then, main lights for the stage.
That's pretty cool for you to be able to see this.
Yeah.
You know?
So I've actually seen one of these that was still working before, not here, but they're very cool. And it's funny because a lot of these rooms still exist. We still have the dressing rooms backstage. We still have our stage work lights. We still have the fan room backstage.
Are you going to give me a copy of this video?
I'm going to put it on YouTube so you can have
And then down here is a panel for all the electrical. So, and then, this was ripped out from backstage and then replaced with new electrical. So a lot of this stuff has just been turned into regular wall switches that you flip on and off. Oh, the show's starting. We should go watch.
Okay.
Before we begin, a reminder to silence all cell phones and noise-making gadgets. Please refrain from communicating on them during the performance, including text messaging. But we do